Hi guys, Elle here. So I recently got the itch again, the itch to do some sort of a pagan crafty project, and I have decided I am finally, after over 20 years of living the witchy life and walking the pagan path, to create my own Book of Shadows from scratch. I'll be recording the whole damn thing. I think I even have a friend who's gonna do it with me. But anyway. This is the leather behind you. I'm literally gonna like make my own book. I'll talk more about it when we get there. But what I wanted to sort of share with you guys today was kind of where it all started. My teenage Book of Shadows. I think it's really cool to look through stuff like this though, because this is when you're learning everything you can about everything. I thought I was going to be a witch. I thought I was going to be Wiccan or like this eclectic pagan. I guess I am sort of eclectic pagan, but you know, I didn't really know, I guess, what path I would follow. So I was exploring everything, and I think that's where a lot of us start, right? You know, it's all everybody's books of shadows sort of have a lot of the same stuff in it, because that's our introduction to the path. To our alternative paths, whatever they may be. And a Book of Shadows, I think it's such a great thing to have when you're first getting started. Because you need to write everything down, and turning it into something artsy and crafty it's a great way to experience it and to sort of drill things in and explore things more deeply. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna work like this. I won't be able to show you guys very good, so I'm gonna flip the camera down in a second and show you the embarrassment of my teenage Book of Shadows. Okay guys, here goes. I'm not sure I want to do this. I'm not even sure what's in here. If it's something I don't want to show, I'll just sort of skip it. But this is my teenage Book of Shadows, mid-90s, 14, 15, and continued on working with it and for just a few years, maybe just until like 19 or 20, and then it just sort of became too, I don't know, old. It didn't reflect who I was and what my path was anymore. You'll see it. None of this is me. You know, as you walk the path and live the life and learn more, your path starts to narrow, and as you figure things out and where you feel at home and what feels right and what works and what doesn't. So anyway, some of the stuff worked and some of it didn't, but that's the front cover. As you can tell, I was already a fan of Scotch tape. Also, the idea of printing things out off the internet was such a novelty at that time. I had access to all these images. It wasn't just cutting things out of magazines and things like that. I could find cool images that I had never seen before. That was around the time we got our first computer. I did, basically it's 3 marble notebooks bound together. You know I love me some marble notebooks. Bound together. And I realized this because this was actually my very first Book of Shadows. Hang on. Look at that! Do you see it? I had no idea that it would do that to a book when you jam-packed it full of shit. So it's got kind of a funny shape. Yeah, I don't even want to go through this. It's ridiculous. How to meet a fairy and fairy days and all sorts of weird shit. So yeah, I learned my lesson with that one and realized that, you know, first of all, don't put so much shit in your book, and second of all, you know, if you can loosen up the bindings on a marble notebook, it can actually make it so much thicker. They were just sort of masking tape together, and it really, honestly, it held up really well for a really long time, and it would be really easy to put this back together. It just sort of ripped apart. I had a little yarn book mark in there, and that's what the back looked like. I was obsessed with all these fantasy, mythological, 70s style paintings at the time for some reason. Alright. And it's inside. A dark goddess and a light goddess. I was very into goddesses. from all different pantheons. This is sort of I don't know where this came from. It's called Of Dark Skies. It looks like a little poem, a Wiccan poem or something. And there's a lot of this, a lot of cutouts. This is actually really cool that this was on my second page, because I had no idea that I was going to follow more of a Norse path. And what this is right here, it's even still hard to see like this. It's the 9 worlds of Yggdrasil. Love that that's there. Oh, there's all sorts of just quotes and things like that, and little memories. This is my Buddha page, I guess. Awareness is the path of immortality. Thoughtlessness is the path of death. Those who are aware do not die. The thoughtless are as if already dead. I can barely read my handwriting. That's good, though. Oh, I like that. Some of these are really pretty, huh? Touch the magic. Oh, I was so gonna be such a witch. Okay, here's my first sort of dedication page. This is a page devoted to the Morrigan. And actually, I love that I had this idea, and I would use it back then as sort of a portable altar, because I didn't really have an altar, and all I would have to do is open up to a goddess or a god page like this, and it was, it had images, it had invocations or rituals, whatever I had in there, but something to sort of focus on with that particular goddess. I actually would like to do that in my the Book of Shadows that I'm planning on making, have pages devoted to specific gods like that, filled with like images of them and symbolism and correspondences and things like that. That'd be cool. More Morrigan pages. Like, I have no idea what that says. That's in like Welsh or something. It looks cool though. Oh, the Lady's Prayer. Our Mother, who art thou present, honored by thy name. Thy time has come, we shall be one on earth, which is our heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and love us in our imperfections, as we forgive those who trespass against us. For the time is what does it say? For thine is the spirit of the great transformation forever and ever. Amen. That's a beautiful little prayer. Oh my God. This is a trip down memory lane. Oh, I was obsessed with Dan Millman. Oh, I still really like him. Stuff about the way of the peaceful warrior. Another goddess page, Goddess of the Dawn. Oh, fairy pages. Lots of fairy pages. I was very into fairies. As most of us are when we first start out, right? There's something cool about them. I think it's just the whole idea and fantasy of it, but the idea that, everything is alive and has a spirit. I think just learning that for me was very powerful. This was not intentional. This was me spilling something, but it created a cool rainbow effect. Oh, this is a page devoted to Ishtar. And, I have like Orisha pages. And this is devoted to Kali, or Kali Sara, the Black Madonna, the Queen of the Gypsies. These are deities that I just don't really work with. But I was exploring back then. Oh, this is a quarters invocation. I burnt all my edges and stuff. It's also just like a random ass scrapbook too. I have like 10 pages, probably 20 back there, that are like devoted to Xena Warrior Princess in my Book of Shadows. Which, it kind of makes sense for me. Like, this is just me marking dates and things that I did. But it's kind of cool to look back at. I think that, what that show, Xena Warrior Princess, represented for me was, not only this empowering sort of kick-ass, probably lesbian lady, but also it was a cool way for me to explore the Greek gods. There would be like Ares in an episode, and, I would know that it wasn't really anything to do with the actual deity, but it was sort of spurred me on to go and read more and explore it further. This is like a circle casting, a pagan Hail Mary. I liked the idea. I think a lot of us do too, right? That, you know, I wasn't raised Christian, so it's probably way more for other people, but Christian prayers and things like that were more familiar to me than anything that was pagan. So like that Our Lady's Prayer and the pagan Hail Mary, these were things that sounded okay to say and made sense to me and felt familiar. So there's definitely a lot of that kind of stuff in here too. There's also a triple goddess chant there. I was also sort of coming out as a lesbian at the time, so there's so much, like, there's a lot of dirty pictures in here. Oh, okay, so here's the first place I ever wrote about the runes, pretty much, more or less. It's like 2 words, and I'm sure I don't agree with any of my interpretations anymore. Actually, I'm sure they're right off the internet or right out of a book. They even called them the Viking runes. But yeah, I was apparently fascinated by Norse stuff pretty early on. I just didn't know that it was the direction I was totally going to go in. This is a healing meditation. Oh, I remember this one. Spirit of the Night. It looks like a poem. Hot topic. Like, what? That's not very sacred. A call for rain, cast the circle. Oh, a page dedicated to Thor. A lot of these little pictures that I cut out come out of, I should go a lot faster, but a lot of these little pictures that I cut out actually came from like those little metaphysics catalogs that you used to get sent to your house back in the day, and you can order stuff. I think at the time they probably had a website you could order through too, but it was, it was the early days. You could get the catalog or buy online. So I used to chop the shit out of those catalogs. I don't know, goddess girl stuff. Oh, this is like, what is this? Oh, poems and things I found. A dancing lust spell. This is all about warriors and warriorship. Oh my god, don't look at that. Oh, page is dedicated to Shiva, the great Lord Shiva. I skipped one. Oh, that's right. I wrote out like 100 names of Lord Shiva. It looks kind of cool, doesn't it? I had a magic name. It was like Amara, and then it became Amara Nix. It's my warrior code. That's actually kind of funny. And the 4 noble truths. An Irish blessing. The 9 noble virtues of Asatru that I like. A lot of stuff never got finished. Warrior. I was obsessed with the idea of being a warrior. Oh, Kali Ma, page devoted to her. There's like an invocation here. And, ooh, a Kali Ma new moon ritual. That's cool. I was just exploring anything and everything I could get my hands on. This was a sort of a Buddhist story that I really liked. I wrote down. Cornucopia abundance spell, that looks like, yep. More fairy pages. Oh, I like the Valkyries too. Look at that. Ride like a girl. After death. It did not say that. I glued them together. Or taped them together. Everything's taped, by the way. Book of Scotch tape. This was sort of a northern, sort of a Norse pagan ritual with having to do with hell. Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, stuff like this, it's not something I would do anymore, but just because of the details, I would change a lot of the details. It was, inscribing a pentagram, and it was very, I don't know, it feels very Wicca-y. And I would sort of change a lot of that now if I were to do a ritual like this, or find a ritual like this. Oh, page is dedicated to Athena. Oh, there's a lot of this kind of correspondences, all that I want to put in my new Book of Shadows, but I have my own correspondences now from over the years that I can sort of just put together in one place, which would be lovely. Oh, I was exploring Celtic astrology and Ogam, all the different trees. I was so into everything, wasn't I? Aradia, pages to the goddess Aradia. Is that even how you say it? It's not someone not a deity I ever worked with. Artemis pages, that was a big one for me at the time. Artemis invocation, devocation, an S-spot invocation. Oh, look at that. Look at the dates for the full moons here. Can you see that? I don't know if it's legible. It starts in 1996 and ends in 2002. Names of all the moons are up here. I certainly did realize when making this book, however, that you can't really organize things, you know, when pages are attached. One of the things I am definitely doing in my new book, I already have the screws, is doing a screw-in book. So you can, like, hole punch your pages and then, like, move them around so you can keep things organized. I had no plans with this book anyway, but it was hard to go back through and find things. I would be flipping through forever. There's a page dedicated to Kuan Yin, by the way. And this is a Freya page! Ah! So cool. And I have a bloat in here, Disir bloat. I was already interested in out-of-body experiences. Look at this. How to have an out-of-body experience. Oh, it's from a book. I remember that book, different focuses and things. I feel like I came back and added this stuff in a little bit later. This is all about the Sabbats and the Wheel of the Year. A little bit about each one. Looks like I cut that right out of the book. And then I wonder if I have a page for each one. Look, I started. This was the winter solstice, and there's a whole... Is that a whole ritual? So, yep, that's a whole, just a short ritual. Imbolc, the Festival of Lights. A little bit about it, and a whole ritual. I remember this ritual, actually. That's cool. Vernal equinox, we called it. Okay. Lots of blankies here. Oh, that was going to be Beltane. Not much made its way in there. Midsummer. Lunasa. Often, even when I had this book, whatever rituals or spells or things that I would physically do, because I was practicing. It wasn't just learning. This was doing. It was doing for the first time a lot of things. But yeah, even, you know, I didn't, just because there's no rituals in here doesn't mean I didn't do anything. I mean, I'm sure sometimes I didn't, but I would be printing things out from online, just take the paper with me or write it on a separate piece of paper. Mabon and Samhain. Oh, there's a chant, there's a ritual in here. I was a dancer. I even have some songs. That's Elsewhere by Sarah McLachlan written out because I loved that at the time. A Spell to Greet the Dawn. Oh, I loved that one. Holy Days. Marked down all holy days that I thought would be relevant for myself. More Artemis pages. There's a lot of those. Felt a very strong connection to her. This is all Artemis. Invocations, prayers about rituals and things. Okay, here's where the creepy geekiness starts. The Xena pages. Oh my god, I don't even want to show you guys this. It's so embarrassing. I was obsessed. I would go to conventions and get dressed up and everything. I found it so fun, so empowering. Loved this fucking show. Xena and Gabrielle together forever. Yeah, I'm sure I added on to this throughout all of high school and maybe even after. Okay, it's over. This is Aphrodite stuff. Everyone has one of those in their very first Book of Shadows, right? Like that classic printout of runes ripped out. Oh, these are rune. That was rune. What do you call it? Rune spreads for reading the runes. And this was an Odin page that never got started. Oh, and more rune stuff. I didn't know much, but I thought they were interesting, and yeah, they became obviously a big part of everything. I don't think there's too much tarot stuff in here at all. This was, you know, where the two books combined. I just taped them together, turned it into another artsy page. This, I don't know what this is. This is an Artemis ritual. This is some blank pages. This is a ritual. A lot more rituals and spells. I did like that more back then. This is a 4 elements, a druidic centering meditation. Pulled right off the net. Booyah. Elements, elemental stuff. That was song lyrics. A ritual of banishing. Oh, this is about the hours of the day and what they represented. This was probably one of the first times I started looking at numerology and what the numbers meant. That's really what that all is, looking at it now. I wonder if I knew that at the time. Probably not. This is then a start day page. Random. Isis. Never added much Isis stuff. Oh, a little bit about the chakras. What was it? A pentacle or a color chart? Never finished. Pentacle meditation. More warrior stuff. Oh, here's more about the elements and correspondences. I didn't make them very pretty. That's the Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. Loved that. Oh, I never found a picture for it, but this was supposed to be for Erishkigal, the sister of Ishtar. There's a whole little ritual here too. Just had to skip a few pages, sorry. They're way too embarrassing. It's a healing ritual, and that's from that's sort of a memory flower. Fairy pages, rituals and rites and fairies. Conditions for connecting with nature spirits. That's really cute. It's so weird to see how just not my path most of this stuff is. But it's where I started. I am woman, hear me roar. Prayer to Artemis. Okay, there are a bunch of blank pages here. Oh, no, there's not. Just a couple. Oh, the poem, The Lady of Shalott. Loved that. I was really into Celtic stuff too back then. Some stuff I copied from Dhammapada. Sayings of the Buddha. Jesus, that I copied a whole damn thing. Look at that. Oh, I think I had plans. That's where all that blank paper was. I had plans to apparently copy the entire thing. Okay. There was a whole lot of more geeky private stuff. But isn't that page cool? I cut that out. I never wrote anything in there. That's a lot of stuff about rent, really. The muses I was fascinated by. Terpsichore, Calliope. Alright, so here is the last book. This is mostly empty still, I think. But I did like the size that 3 marble notebooks created. I actually really love this page. Look at that, it says Rebirth and Marry Meet Again. But it says, if you realized that the nurtured spiritual part of yourself would accompany you on your eternal journey, and that everything else you have labored so hard to accumulate would vanish the instant you depart this world, would it alter your daily agenda? That was good, right? I like that. A lot of stuff I wanted to be reminded of. This one was good. Rules for being human. You will receive a body. Lessons will be presented. There are no mistakes, only lessons. A lesson is repeated until it is learned. Learning lessons does not end. And on and on and on. Ooh, the Pot of Flame. She's cool, right? Oh, good lord, more poetry and goddess things. Warrior stuff. Yeah, they're not all blank pages. There's a lot of them in there, but there's a lot of stuff I don't want to show in there. Oh, but that brings us to the end of the book. Another beautiful picture, and never look back. Okay, that was fun.